All right. Hello, everybody. Hopefully you enjoyed some of that upbeat song while we waited. It was depending on that or maybe some elevator music, but we decided on some upbeat music, especially for how cold it is, I feel like, across all of the US right now. And in my head, the only thing I can think of is spring is, only 57-ish days away. And also I feel like this, sunset will be, at 7:30 in 57 days from now. So some things to think about as I feel like most of the country is experiencing super cold weather right now, but we will go ahead and jump right into the content. I know we still have some people joining as we're at the top of the hour, but as usual, we have a packed agenda. Our product and engineering team keeps me busy creating these slides and sharing all these new features with us. So I was joking with them that we may have to move this to an hour-long meeting every quarter for as much as they push out. So we'll dive in and jump into some of the things that our agenda first, and then we'll jump into the content. So for the speakers today, you'll be stuck with me for a while, but then Hannah, our Director of Product Expansion, will be going over some overviews of integrations that are coming soon to our PEX Marketplace, as well as some of our newest integrations. But for a few housekeeping before we jump in, we have muted everyone, so you don't have to worry about, chomping on your lunch or, chatting with somebody else in the room. You are muted, so you're good there. If you have any questions, feel free to throw them into the Q&A and we will answer them there. Best to put them in the Q&A so we can kind of see who came in first and we can mark them complete. We have a few people here to answer those questions, so feel free to pop them in there. We want this to be helpful and just, back and forth. And then you will get an email following this webinar with the key takeaways and a recording. That way you can share with other people within your organization. And then the winner of the $100 PEX Disperse card will be emailed right after this meeting. So just some housekeeping, and I will jump right into the content. So before we kind of chat through what's new and what's coming, given that it's the beginning of the year, I wanted to highlight some of the great work that our team did in 2024. And for those of you that have attended our webinars in the past, some of these will maybe resonate with you and you'll remember us highlighting them. So it's really hard to kind of narrow down to the top ones, but wanted to chat through those quickly. So it was really a standout year for us. We did everything from, AI-driven innovations to expanded credit opportunity to really help and improve your experience overall. And you may have also noticed that we recently refreshed our dashboards that you guys log into, as well as our PEX dashboard. So our marketing, product, and engineering team did a great job of kind of giving it a fresh new look. And we'll have actually a poll here shortly to get your feedback on some other rebranding that we'll be doing. But to give you a highlight of kind of our top 2024, credit expense was a big one. We achieved over 500% growth in this credit solution. For those of you that haven't heard of the credit solution, it's a unlike the prepaid card, it's a line of credit that your team can use, and it's a great solution to use next to your prepaid program if you have a prepaid program with us today. We see a lot of accounts using the prepaid account as well as credit. So using credit maybe for their executive team for travel or their back office payments, and then keeping the prepaid card maybe for their managers or volunteer base. So it's a great tool to kind of pair together with prepaid. And the great thing is it's now available in 49 states. And we have higher credit lines, so up to $2 million per month in purchasing power with this credit line. So if you're interested in learning more about credit expense, feel free to reach out to us and we can give you a demo. It also comes with a rebate option on qualified spend. So some great enhancements with credit expense for 2024. We're also really proud of the work that we've done with reimbursements. So we launched employee and mileage reimbursements, allowing us to facilitate hundreds of thousands of dollars in reimbursements that aren't done on a PEX card. So think of those situations where maybe, oh crap, I kept my PEX card at home, or didn't take it on this trip, or I need to buy something but don't have it, and you have to use your personal card. This reimbursement feature within our platform allows you to do that all within the PEX platform. And we also have mileage reimbursement. So if you're using your personal card, we've done over 20,000 miles of reimbursements since launching that feature very recently. So we'll be going over that feature as well today. Marketplace apps was a big year for our marketplace, where we released 6 new marketplace apps. The key ones were around Concur, our Concur integration, as well as our recently launched NetSuite integration for both our prepaid and our credit solution. And then Auto Enforcer was one of our PEX productivity apps that was really a key highlight and a big win for the year. We heard a lot of positive feedback from our team around Auto Enforcer. What that app does is it allows you to basically auto enforce your rules you've set in place. We'll chat a little bit more about that one in more detail within the deck, and some new enhancements that are live this quarter. And then our last one was around receipt matching. So we processed and matched over 100,000 receipts since launching this last year. With new ways. So you can now text your receipts to PEX, and you can also email your receipts to PEX, and those will match using AI to the transaction. So email and text message are both brand new, as well as the AI functionality that matches back to transaction. So some really great features and new solutions and new tools for 2024. If you have questions on any of these, feel free to pop them in the Q&A, and we can give you more details or links to support articles on those. But that will lead us to our first polling question. So take a good look at these cards. I told you, we refreshed our dashboards for your users. We also refreshed our website. And we're also kind of in the process of thinking how we also refresh our cards and what those cards will look like, and what our users, you all, are looking for. So we actually used the same poll internally to get a feel for what our team likes to see, but we wanted to hear straight from you. So looking at these cards here, just give us a feel of which cards you guys like the best. These are kind of our initial mocks, so these might change, but just go ahead and select A, B, C, or D based off of, your favorite card art design. And then we have a secondary question, just curious from this group as we think about future enhancements, if, given the option, if you'd prefer to select your own card colors, what that would look like. If would be interested only if there was no cost involved, or hey, I'd actually be willing to pay a little bit for a custom card color, or you know what, I'm fine with just the colors that PEX uses to send out to my users. So quick question, quick panel for you guys to kind of give us a feel for which colors are your favorite. And then if you are interested in your own card colors for maybe some future enhancements we have on our roadmap. Great. Okay, thank you for that feedback. And we will jump into our first enhancement that's live. I mentioned a little bit earlier on the highlights from 2024, but this was one feature that I highlighted in our Q3 and Q4 webinars as a coming soon feature. This is now live, both within the PEX app as well as the dashboard. And this is our new mileage reimbursement feature. So what this enables cardholders to do is request business trips that they're using their own vehicle for by entering either a starting and ending address, and then it will calculate the miles based off of the best route, or allows you to put in a specific starting and ending odometer reader as well. So calculating that, and then you're able to select if this was a round trip or just a single trip. The next thing the cardholder would see is, hey, enter in the bank account you would like this reimbursement to go through. That's all private to them and stays within our system here. And then it's sent off for your approval. So the nice thing is you can set up your approval policies however you would like, and for whoever you would like those to go to. So on the screenshot here, you can see that after that request was submitted, it went to the COO for approval, and then it was going to go to the accounting admin for final approval. So you can set up those approvals, and we'll talk a little bit more about approval policies within this webinar as well. After that's approved, you simply make a payment through the PEX platform, and it would initiate that transfer to that cardholder. So again, another great feature tied alongside of reimbursements that you can now use for mileage reimbursements. And I think we dropped a support article in the chat feature for you to click on if you want more info. We also launched some new workflow enhancements. So you've always been able to filter the dashboard or the transaction tab, excuse me, by several different features. You could filter your transactions by a merchant name or by a purchase date or by a card holder. What we've done now is added an additional feature where you can filter by tag values, meaning once those transactions have a code or a tag assigned to them, you can now say, hey, I want to see all of my transactions that have this specific tag tied to them within my transaction view. Again, just giving you that better flexibility and precision of when you're searching for the transactions you're looking for. In addition to on the same transaction tab, we've added the ability to bulk apply tags, meaning if maybe I know, hey, Zach was on this trip this week for this job code, I can select all of those card or transactions that are tied to Zach's card, everything that was within this date range, and I want to just bulk apply all of these tags to those transactions. So you don't have to go one by one through each transaction. You can now bulk apply all of those tags at once. We have a short demo on how to do that, as well as the QR code you want to scan if you want some more specific details. So I'm going to stop sharing the slides real quick and pull up this video, and we'll walk through that, and then I'll be right back.
As Zach mentioned, we are very excited.
All right, we will watch the video.
As Zach mentioned, we are very excited to roll out these new features to improve your experience with PEX. Let's get started. PEX now allows you to search all transactions by tag values, making it easier to locate transactions across both the Transactions and Review tabs. To get started, navigate to the Transactions tab, select Card Transactions, and open the Filters drop-down menu. You can see from the drop-down menu that there is a wide range of filters you can use. However, to search for transactions with specific tag values, simply select Tag Values from the drop-down. Next, use the drop-downs to select your desired tag and corresponding tag value to filter and organize the transactions on the tab. You can click More to add additional tag filters, and then click Add. Your transactions will now be filtered based on the selected tag criteria. But that's not all. PEX also offers a bulk tagging feature which allows you to apply tags to multiple selected transactions at once, saving you and your team valuable time. To bulk apply tags, simply select the transactions you'd like to tag within the Card Transactions tab. Then click Actions and select Set Tag Value. Enter the tag values you want to apply to all selected transactions. If you need more tag rows, click More to add additional rows, and then click Apply to All when you're done. This feature helps streamline your workflow, making managing transactions easier and more efficient. You can scan the QR codes for additional information and include any questions in the Zoom Q&A. Back to you, Zach.
All right, perfect. I'm going to unshare this real quick and get back to the slides. So I appreciate everyone's patience. So again, a great feature for streamlining those abilities to get in and out of the platform quickly and over to more high value tasks that we know are all on your guys' plate to complete as well. All right. So a additional new feature, this one actually just went live yesterday, so hot off the presses, is the ability to actually save your filters within your search. So what this allows you to do from the screenshots you can see here is that you can create and save those filters based off of commonly used filters that you use on that transaction tab, apply those filters, save it, and then you can use it over and over again when you see it underneath the Saved Filters tab. The nice thing about this also, as you can see from the two here on the screenshot, is that you can actually copy this URL and share it with other people on your team. Meaning, maybe you have a specific report that you've created or within the save filters within the transaction tab, and you want everyone on your team to use the same report with the same filters. You can share that link with them, and you'll basically apply all of those same filters when they log into the dashboard. They can then save that report on their dashboard as well. So a great new feature, something that just came out yesterday. Again, hoping to save you guys time and make it easier for you guys to use this platform. So super exciting things here. Again, feel free to reach out if you have any questions using this. Again, this just went live, so excited about this new workflow. And we'll move on to the next slide. This next one is super exciting. Again, I mentioned Auto Enforcer was something that we launched in 2024 and was a crowd favorite by a lot of our customers. And as a reminder, what this does is it's a free productivity feature within the PEX dashboard. And if I haven't mentioned it already, all the things I've talked about today are free. So all of these features you can access today and are part of your plan, but Auto Enforcer is also free. And what it allows you to do as an admin is create rules to temporarily block cards until your card holder uploads the right receipt or uploads the tags that they're required to do. So it takes out the work of you having to reach out to card holders or other admins to upload their receipts and their tags. This does it all for you. So once you have that rule set up, if the required action isn't complete by the card holder, the card will actually automatically block. They'll get warning emails in between. They'll get a block email in between as well. But it'll actually automatically block. And once they complete that action, the automation unblocks the card. So saving you time from having to reach out to them, also saves you time from having to block it, and kind of also takes away you not having to be the bad guy, right? So it's all of our tool forcing them and asking them to complete the actions to comply with the policy you've set up. Some new things that we've launched. So Auto Enforcer's been live for a while now, but we're always looking on ways to enhance the features that we've put forward for our customers. And one way, if you can see from the screenshot A, is around the history tab. So you can see that the history was always there. You're always able to see it. But we added the ability for you to export this into a CSV. This way you can see like, hey, Zach is always forgetting to do his tags, or always forgetting to do his receipts, and allows you to have a coachable opportunity there and just allows you to have the tracking on the back end. The other item is the improved documentation. So we've added some additional tweaks here and there to both the dashboard as well as the warning emails and the block emails that your users get. So from the screenshot B, you can see that the transaction notes now appear and show you the missing items, both within the warning and the blocking, and shows you a table of transactions with the missing items. So you can see, there's a $3 purchase missing tags and receipts, and then you can see the ones below that maybe are just missing one or the other. So the card holder is very clear on exactly what's missing from each transaction in order to get their card unblocked or to avoid getting their card blocked in the first place. So great tool, great features to kind of bring Auto Enforcer to the next level. And like I mentioned, we have some exciting new ones that are coming this year as well. The last demo that we wanted to show is around advanced approval policies. So in 2024, we launched a ton of new approval policies and workflows that your team can set up. So basically all of these features were live in 2024 that lets you set up conditions for transactions or funding requests or reimbursement requests that allow you to say, hey, Zach has a funding request. That should go directly to the CFO, or that should go directly to the COO. And you can directly have those requests going to the right people within your organization based off of a variety of things. So maybe transactions go to a different person versus a reimbursement request maybe goes to accounting. That's all unique to each organization, but you can set those up. And that's been live for a while. We also had the ability to configure those policies based off of a threshold. So say maybe if I spend $500, that needs to be approved by my manager. But if if I'm requesting $1,000 reimbursement, maybe that needs to go to a VP, and maybe if it's 5,000, it needs to be approved by someone in the C-suite. All of those policies have already been in place, both based off of a dollar threshold, a group or department threshold, or a tag or account. What we've added and what is new is the ability to mix and match those. So you can have a policy set up that's based off of, a dollar threshold, a specific group or department, as well as a tag or account. So I'm gonna play this short video. Again, I'm gonna unshare my screen and then share the video again to walk through how to set up an advanced approval policy.
As Zach mentioned,
Share my screen here. And good to go.
As Zach mentioned, I'm here to guide you through setting up and customizing the new advanced approval policies to streamline your business operations. Let's get started. With advanced approval policies, you can set specific approvers based on thresholds, tags, and groups, giving you greater control and flexibility over your approval process. To create an advanced approval policy, start by navigating to Business Settings. From there, select Approval Policies and click Create New Policy to begin. Once you're in the Policy Creation tab, select Advanced Policy, which allows you the advanced option to unlock more control across all 3 policy types. Then, name your policy, giving it a clear and descriptive name. Choose a workflow that best suits your needs. Next, if desired, specify a threshold for automatic approvals. Choose the appropriate policy for your use case and customize rules based on your business needs. After you've selected all necessary policy types and defined the rules, simply click Create to finalize your policy. Your newly created policy will then appear in the list, where you can review and edit it as needed. You can scan the QR codes for additional information and include any questions in the Zoom Q&A. Back to you, Zach.
Right. Back to me, Zach. I always love those short breaks in there. It gives you guys a break from listening to me, and then also gives me a second to rest my voice and get a drink of water. So we will get right back into the slides here. Have a few more before we hand it over to Hannah to go over our marketplace updates. So the past slide and the past demo showed you those advanced approval policies that we now have available. And all you could kind of see in those screenshot and the demo, where if you didn't want an advanced approval policy, you could see where you could set up those, just the dollar threshold or the department threshold too. So some great capabilities in there as well if you didn't want to go all the way to the advanced side. Coming soon, tied into kind of this approval policy, is the ability to set a manual approver for overrides. So we know that there's sometimes situations where, hey, maybe the CFO or a special approver needs to go in and reject or approve something that doesn't necessarily flow the exact policy that you set up. Or maybe you just want a super user of PEX to be able to reject, approve any transaction, any funding request, any unblocking request, any reimbursement, and you want that person to be able to do that without having to follow the specific flow. What we're working on now is the ability of assigning a group or a specific individual that kind of super user or that approval override feature. So you can kind of see what our mocks look like right now. These could certainly change as we're kind of in the development phase, but wanted to give this group a glance of what that can look like. So in the screenshot marked one, you can see that there'll be a check mark that says, hey, I want to auto approve all items with the amount lower than the first rule. So what's really nice about this is maybe your approval policy is, hey, anything over $50 needs to have eyes on it, but we want to auto approve everything under this specific, $50, just auto approve that. The second screen will show you, hey, this is how we want to configure out of policy rules. for specific user groups and what we want them to be able to do. So from the screenshot, it might be small for you to see, but we've set the CFO to basically override transactions and funding requests. But maybe for our top managers, we only want them to override card unblocking requests. So you can really customize the who and the what around the override feature. In screenshot number 3, you'll be able to see what that looks like for the user. So when you push, approve or reject, a pop-up will appear that says, hey, are you sure you want to override the existing approval workflow that's been set up and approve this transaction or approve this funding request? You can say confirm, and you also leave a reason there. We also have tracking on the back end. So screenshot number 4, you can see when you hover over approved, you can see that it was approved through a manual override process, the date and the time that that was done. So this is coming soon. We'll probably have a demo and a walkthrough of this on the next webinar. But when experience updates, some smaller things, but I think some really impactful things for our end users, especially our admins, to make your jobs easier and more clear. So we've enhanced these new updates around clear admin permission description. So when you're sending out invites, knowing exactly what each permission stands for, the ability to filter transactions by notes, and then updated transaction pages with some new icons. So for bullet point A and screenshot A, you can see what the new permissions screenshot looks like for when you're inviting a new admin. So say you want to add or edit or terminate an administrator, and you're like, what does that actually mean? We've actually added a few bullet points under each one of them to get it really clear on what you're granting each admin to do when you're sending out those invites. We moved a screenshot in bullet point B. We now have the ability to filter by notes. So you can kind of see it towards the bottom of there when you're on the transactions tab, the ability to say, I want to see all transactions with a note, or I want to see all transactions with no notes. That capability is now live within the transactions tab underneath filters. And then you'll also notice within the transaction page that there are these little icons next or in between the dollar amount and the review, not reviewed, approved column. And those little icons represent if a transaction has notes, tags, or receipts. So no need to open up each transaction to look at it. You can simply see it by the icons that are listed below there. So 3 little icons that represent notes, tags, and receipts, just to make your guys' life a bit easier. And with that, I'm going to transition into a glimpse into 2025. So this was another hard slide for me to build just because we have so many great things coming in 2025, both really big transformational items, as well as smaller things that I think we hear from our customers frequently that we want to add. So we're really excited about 2025. I'm going to go over the top 4 things that I kind of picked to highlight with this team today. And then we'll have a poll right after this slide to kind of see if you guys want to opt into any of our betas as we're move closer to launching these. So the number 1 item I put on here is around bill payments. So we're expanding our ability for back office ACH payments to vendors, as well as the use of single-use vendor cards. So again, as we think about bill payments, building out that functionality, both from an ACH payment standpoint to your vendors, as well as giving you the ability to still put it on a card, but have that card be a single-use card. So some great things coming with bill payments very soon. We're also going to leverage, again, the ability of AI to streamline and make your guys' lives easier. And we're kind of calling this intelligent tags right now. And what this will allow you to do is that the PEX AI will suggest tags that you've used in the past. So popular tags based off of kind of a pattern of, hey, you always tag the specific department when this happens, or these specific items. We'll be using AI to suggest those tags for you. Again, streamlining and making your guys' lives easier. We're also working on what we're calling tag dependencies. So allowing admins to create dependency rules between 2 specific tags within Tag Manager. So, hey, when you use the, let's say, athletics department for a tag, for the job code, only use these specific tags are available for the athletics department. Again, creating a dependency between two separate tags to make the end user experience better for you and for your team. And then the last one is kind of a generic update, or not a generic, but a high level update, I'll say, around workflows and policies, again, to make it more streamlined and more customizable for your team. So some of the things that factor into this are around allowing multiple credit programs under one credit line. So you can maybe say you have a $250,000 credit line. You can now create separate sub-accounts within that one credit line. We're also looking into streamlined spend and vendor workflows to just to make your lives easier as we think about bill payments more that we talked about at the very top and just spend in general. Gonna launch a poll really quick, based off of those high level kind of descriptions of the four things I think are big improvements for this year and some things I'm really excited about. If you're interested in being part of any of these beta tests in 2025, feel free to select those. If you're not interested in any of the beta programs here, just don't answer this question and we'll leave you out. But when we're ready to start testing with our first few users, we'll reach out to you guys there. Okay, we'll give this one, all right, ready to go forward. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to Hannah. As I mentioned, she's our Director of Product Expansion. She's going to talk us through our marketplace apps while I get a drink of water, and I'll see you guys here in a second. So over to you, Hannah.
Thanks, Zach, and hello, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon. What you're seeing right now is a view of our PEX marketplace. So this is a slide that we like to continue to present in our webinars because it is ever changing, which is a good thing. And a lot of that is based off of feedback from you. So thank you again, because it makes our lives easier trying to focus on building what is most important. As a general reminder, as I always like to say, everything that you see on here is available included in your PEX account, so there's no additional cost. All of these are for administrators. And one of the things that we've mentioned in a prior webinar, and I'll just mention it again today, is that this app section is now available to cardholders. So our expense envelope section is a great example of an app that cardholders can use to submit transaction information for bulk approval by you, the admins. Accounting will continue to be a core focus for us. So after this, I'll talk about some of the new apps, and we'll talk a little bit more about NetSuite, which is our newest accounting app that was heavily requested and is now live and being used. I did just want to give an honorable mention to CMIC, which is really big in the construction space, which is also now live and being used as well. We talked a bit about some of the automation apps. There was a spotlight on Auto Enforcer. This app has been really popular among admins, so it's a great way, as Zach mentioned earlier, to have PEX kind of be the bad guys and not have admins continuing to chase cardholders for things like receipts, as well as tag information, notes coming soon. I would say at a high level, if your business is using any of the accounting sync options that you see, other apps that pair really well with that, besides Auto Enforcer, is also Auto Tagger. And I saw there were a few questions today around that. So being able to automatically create rules that can code transactions, maybe that's by a particular cardholder, maybe it's by a department, maybe it's by a merchant code. So continuous ways to make your usage of the PEX system easier. And in addition to adding in some new logos, we're continually focused on making the logos that we already do have deeper and adding in new functionality. So one of the ways that we're doing that is by adding support for a reimbursement feature, which I know we've talked about a little bit today with mileage reimbursements and just our overall launch of the reimbursement capability in 2024. So QuickBooks will be the first accounting app that will support that functionality. And we're going to continue to upgrade all of our accounting apps to support this throughout the rest of this year, and maybe into early next year. And as always, it's really, really helpful to get a sense from this group, especially. I think there's a lot of great feedback around what types of things you would like to see next. So the first one, I kind of mentioned a little bit about this, but continuing to double down in creating more advanced features within the accounting systems, whether it's the reimbursement, better reporting, different reconciliation tools that would make your life easier, support for more fields, the ability to collect receipts from popular merchants. So Zach also mentioned this before, but we've been spending quite some time on our roadmap dedicated to make the receipt collection and matching process easier. The next phase of that has always been around directly getting receipts from those merchants where you spend the most. So would love to hear kind of your thoughts and interest around that. I threw Amazon, Lyft, and Uber as examples, but if there are others, then feel free to reach out, drop a comment. Would love to explore that. Another kind of area that we are early days in exploring that is definitely interesting, but would also like to confirm that's interesting to you as well, is integrating with an HR platform. So different use cases you can think about is as new employees are being hired, a way to automatically give them a PEX card as they're being offboarded, ways to turn off and block PEX cards. And from an approval standpoint, as you're thinking about building out your flows, how can PEX get a better sense of what the org chart looks like, which is always changing, to be able to more proactively recommend different types of approvals that would be best for you. And then I put other on there because I think there's just a lot of great ideas. So this was just to give you a sense. Maybe other could be an accounting system or other software that you use today that you don't currently see a logo for. So always a continued focus of ours to continue to add and make these better based on your feedback. So thank you for your feedback. Look forward to checking that out. And now I will flip to talk a little bit more about one of the apps that had been highly requested and we are now live with. So Oracle NetSuite, this launched towards the beginning of last month. We have support for both our prepaid as well as our credit expense solution. As I mentioned, this is included in your PEX account, so no additional charge here. You're able to sync purchases as well as transfers or bill payments, rebates, as well as any kind of fees incurred. We support syncing of the standard account tags such as vendors, class, departments, locations, as well as custom fields. We've been getting a lot of positive feedback on the receipts, which are synced directly into the journal entry. And we're just excited to continue to invest in this integration as well as any others. We are still early days with this integration. So we've been getting a lot of great feedback from our few dozen users who are currently looking at this. So would love to see if you would like any help and support, learning more, connecting with a customer success manager. Don't hesitate to reach out. You'll probably see me there as well because I've been really involved in this rollout. And as always, look forward to hearing your feedback. Zach, I'm going to hand you back the mic and thank you all for letting me participate today.
Of course, of course. Hannah's always willing to be my partner in crime in these webinars, so I'm very appreciative of her, as well as a shout out to Jesse and Alex who are managing our Q&A today. It's a tough job to keep up with all your questions, but we love it, so keep them going. But thank you to Jesse and Alex as well for helping with the Q&A. This kind of brings us to towards the end of our webinar today. Wanted to first state thank you guys for attending. We appreciate the comments and all the chats. It's always great to kind of hear from our customers and questions you guys have and the things that you would love. We had this slide in here in the last webinar. I wanted to put it in today as well. One, just to highlight, we truly appreciate your feedback. So if there's any questions you guys have or things that you think we should be doing, always feel free to reach out to us. We love hearing it, and we love being able to factor those into our roadmap when it makes sense. But we also wanted to highlight on this slide some new badges that we received from G2. So we received some new badges this winter, being a leader within the space, being a leader within small business within the Americas. We also got two new badges around easiest admin and easiest to use within the mid-market for 2025 for the winter. Something that we're really proud of. We work really hard to make sure that your lives are easiest as possible. So when we see those reviews come through, um, I know everyone here at PEX loves to see those. So we are running a campaign right now with G2. So if you scan the QR code or visit the link here or visit the link that was just dropped in the chat, if you leave a review, we'll actually send you guys out a $25 Amazon gift card. So I know a few of you guys have maybe actually left us a review last time. Can't leave another review this time, but maybe you can find somebody else on your team to leave another review. Just one way of double dipping there. But again, we love your feedback and we'd love for you guys to participate in this campaign that we're running with G2. The last thing I'll say here, a lot of great resources. We will send out this recording after the webinar today. So you'll see it in your inbox in the next few days after we have time to put together a recap email and process the recording. But in the meantime, there's some really great resources that you can access. So we have the support center, so support.pexcard.com. Tons of great resources, tons of great articles, and you can kind of search in there like Google and it'll help pop up and answer some of your questions or some things you might need help with. We also have a great team here at admin support at pexcard.com. They have fast turnaround times. They're a super helpful team. So if you have any questions or need support and want an actual human to speak with, they're a great resource to use. So admin support at pexcard.com. And then we also have our blog. So our blog, we're posting it's a great way to see kind of a sneak peek and what we might be going over during the webinar. But the product and marketing team work together to put out some great content, both thought leadership and industry items, as well as just new things to PEX. But with that, I'll close out with just two questions.